Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This is Mike Guevara, and this is part 2 of my alternate election series, and it would be covering the 2008 election right there. So, as we all know, 2008 was a milestone history for most Americans, and 2008 was the first time we elected the first African American president of the United States in Barack Obama. So many people forget that Obama had to fight over his closest rival, Hillary Clinton, who was the New York senator back in the day. So would things had been different had Hillary Clinton became president earlier than take instead of running 8 years later? I mean, back in 2008, she ran as a middle to the left Democrat, and she was a bit conservative in some issues like gay marriage, the economy, and environmental issues. Although, of course, she did exactly the opposite of that in her 2016 campaign, in which she tried to move to the left in issues like immigration, so on and so forth. So, in this is my second part of the series, alternate election series, in which we do case-to-case scenarios on different elections of the United States, and this time we would tackle the 2008 election. So my scenario for 2008 here is simple. McCain wins. He still wins the nomination for the Republicans, and on the other side, Hillary Clinton would be the front runner, and she managed to defeat Senator Obama in the 2008 Democratic primaries, although she will be embattled entering the general election. So, this, as I've said, just like in my last video, the scenarios would have been the same. We will not change any historical events. The recession will still happen. The Iraq War would still be unpopular. McCain has to still deal with the issue of how to separate himself from President Bush, who was at the time having the lowest approval rating of any president, since approval ratings were a norm. So we would still have the financial panic. We would still be debating about the stimulus package and the bank bailouts. So let's cut to the chase. So McCain would have still won Kentucky. He would have still won South Carolina, and Clinton would have still won Vermont. And I think Georgia would be competitive. I think Virginia would have been competitive at this time, because it was one of the states seriously hit by the bailout, or by the economic crisis. Indiana would have been played just like in 2008, the real situation in 2008. So this will be the initial count. Of course, we're leaving Florida behind because it was technically the swing state of swing states. So moving on to the second R, I think West Virginia would be competitive. North Carolina would become competitive. Ohio would have still been competitive, and we won't call any states for this time. So let's move to the third R. I think I'm giving McCain Mississippi, Alabama, but I'm giving Clinton the Northeast. Sorry, I'm giving her the Northeast. Here, all of these states right here would have gone for Clinton no matter what, even though New Hampshire would have been particularly having some endearment with Senator McCain. So I think Maine would not split votes, so I'm giving Maine to Hillary Clinton. So, yeah. I'm leaving Tennessee behind. I'm leaving Missouri because Missouri was technically close, but I'm not leaving Illinois. I think she would win Illinois, and Pennsylvania would have been close. So Clinton, as of this hour, would have gained 82 electoral votes to McCain's 38. So let's move on. Arkansas would have been close, but I don't think Texas would have been close. That would go for John McCain. Kansas would go for John McCain. Splitting the votes in Nebraska, however, we're going to split that one, I think. I think McCain would have won all four, and Hillary Clinton would have won the one district here. So, we can see here, right here. So Hillary Clinton would now gain 110 electoral votes to McCain's 82. So I'm leaving away Arkansas because that's the traditional home state of the Clintons. However, they left for New York, so I'm giving New York to Hillary. I'm also giving her Minnesota. I'm giving her Michigan. Wisconsin's going to be tighter because Republicans have been targeting Wisconsin as of this time. So yeah, I'm leaving that open as well. Louisiana, I'm not so sure, but I think it will go for John McCain. New Mexico and Colorado, we're leaving it at that. It's a swing state, so I'm also leaving that as a toss-up. However, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming would have still gone for John McCain. So, moving in the West, Arizona would have been close, but I think McCain would have still won his own state, although of course it was slowly turning more diverse. That's why I think Arizona was pretty much competitive, even if he's on the top of the ticket. So Utah would have gone for McCain. Montana would have been close still, despite what people will tell you. Montana was pretty much competitive for Democrats in Montana. Okay, so moving in the West Coast, I actually have to not, I don't know why Florida was colored in, but so far right now we have 141 for Clinton and 115 for McCain. So I'm going to leave every safe state away. Idaho would have gone for, of course, for McCain, Hawaii for Hillary, California to Hillary, Oregon, and Washington to Hillary Clinton. So that puts her at 218 electoral votes to McCain's 119 electoral votes. And if you add Alaska, that would give him 122 electoral votes for John McCain. So we're going to do a state-by-state analysis, and to be honest with you, this would be a wallop for the Democrats, because since 2006 to 2008, the country was experiencing a blue wave, and that will reflect on the national election, and you add to President Bush's unpopularity, that would have given any Democrat a strong chance of winning any national seat, from Senate to the House and also with the presidency. So we're going to start with the South. Arkansas and Tennessee were one of the biggest movers for the Republicans in 2000, and it was hoped to, many Democrats hope it will be flipped. And honestly, I think we're going to give Arkansas to Clinton, because I think she has enough influence here, since it wasn't long ago that she was the First Lady of Arkansas. And same thing in Virginia. I think I'm ready to give Virginia to Hillary Clinton, because the northern part of Virginia started to really become diverse, and it started to become more populated as of this time. And no matter who was on the top of the ticket back in 2008, whether it was Obama or Clinton, this was trending Democratic. So we're also going to give that to Hillary Clinton. Same thing in Pennsylvania. I think one of the biggest mistakes of McCain was that he was forcing himself on states that were not really trending to his side, and one of those states was Pennsylvania. McCain spent a lot of dollars in Pennsylvania, and it led to no avail. So we're also giving Hillary Clinton the state of Pennsylvania. Now, up here in Wisconsin, I think Hillary Clinton would have still won Wisconsin. I think if Obama won here by 6 points, Hillary Clinton would have done pretty much better, because she was pretty moderate on many issues back in 2008. And if we're putting Wisconsin in the Clinton column, we're also going to we're also going to give New Hampshire to Clinton, and that puts her over the top. And that's 272 to 122 by John McCain. So New Hampshire did have a strong endearment for John McCain. This was a state that McCain won easily in his 2008 and 2000 primaries, but still, McCain had to balance his conservative views on social issues, and that would not work for a libertarian state like New Hampshire. So, moving on, we're going to give Iowa to Hillary Clinton. I think, regardless of, as I've said, like in my last video, no VP factors here, just the presidential candidates at large. So Iowa would have still was a good state for Clinton to win. It's heavily working class, and she would have picked somebody from the Midwest, while McCain had to pick somebody from the West. Although many people say he could have picked independent Senator Joe Lieberman for vice president, which would help him win New Hampshire and Connecticut, and probably some districts in Maine. But for Clinton, I think she can win Iowa based on her policies. And if you're winning Iowa, you have to give her Ohio as well. And that puts her to 299, and Ohio is one of those states that Republicans have to win in order to win the presidency. So, yeah, Hillary Clinton would have still won Ohio. She's a good fit for the state of Ohio back in 2008. Okay, so let's fill up other states. New Mexico would have gone for Hillary Clinton. And because of the Latino vote starting to really gain traction as of 2008, and that puts her to 304 electoral votes. And Colorado would have been closer, but I think Hillary Clinton would have also won Colorado. A lot of socially liberal young voters here, but they're fiscally conservative, and Clinton was running as a moderate as of that time, so I think she can win Colorado. Same thing in Nevada. She would have won there. I think Cook County in Las Vegas would have gone for heavily. There's a high turnout of Latino voters for Hillary Clinton. So how about the remaining states? These are the states that I think would have been a surprise for any Democrat to win now, but I'm giving Hillary Clinton Florida. Florida is very elastic, to say the least. It's very tight when you're winning it's a very tight race. Every presidential race would have been tight in the state of Florida. Okay, but because of the you know the exhaustion of incumbency, of course, party fatigue would have been evident in Florida, so Hillary Clinton would have won Florida. Same thing in North Carolina. She would have won even a bigger margin, probably a 2% margin over McCain in a state like North Carolina. It was pretty moderate on many issues, including the war in Iraq, and Hillary Clinton would have easily win in North Carolina. So the remaining states, I think I have to give Hillary Clinton Georgia. I think she would have been a better fit in winning Georgia than Barack Obama, because she can probably have a stronger coalition of white and black voters in Georgia. Same thing in West Virginia. I think West Virginia would have gone Democratic, because in the early pollings, Hillary Clinton was doing well against John McCain, and that was a big deal because West Virginia was also technically a Democratic stronghold before George W. Bush got elected. Okay, so if you're winning Georgia, you're also going to win Missouri. She would have won Missouri, and she would have had a better margin than John McCain, because John McCain isn't appealing well to the rural voters in Missouri. So moving on, we're gonna put Tennessee in the Democratic column, because Hillary Clinton was actually showing strong numbers against McCain in some southern states like Arkansas, Missouri, West Virginia, and Tennessee, and even Georgia. So technically, you're going to see a pretty obscure map had she been the nominee. So the last two states are pretty hard to decide, because technically both Clinton and McCain have chances to win here, but let's split that. I think if Indiana went to Obama by a narrow margin, Hillary Clinton would also have done that, and she would have had probably a better outcome than Obama in Indiana. She will probably win it by 2 points or even less, but she would actually flip some rural counties in the southern part of Indiana. However, McCain would have still won in Montana. Of course, the reason why I said that Montana was competitive for Democrats in the state is because there are two Republicans actually running in the Senate race, in the governor's race, and they would have split the conservative vote, and that would have given Hillary Clinton some sort of advantage. But just like in 2008, Montana would have still remained in McCain's hands. So this is my final map. I know if you have any comments, this is probably the most controversial map I've done, but Hillary Clinton if she would have ran in 2008, she would have been the first woman president with 413 electoral votes, and we have John McCain, who is still the Republican nominee. He would have probably even have lesser electoral votes than the actual election he ran, with 125 electoral votes. So if you like this video, just like it down below. If you have any comments, just comment down below. Of course, we don't allow any negative or derogative comments, so Thank you very much. You can, if you want to subscribe, just click the subscribe button. This is Martin Guevara saying good day.